very grateful to him for introducing me to pranayama. And he is known for clarity, a good focus. Whatever he takes up, he studies with certain true involvement. And the result is a very educative and informative presentation, which you will now watch and hear. And I am already confident there will be action takeaways, something that you and I can practice and derive much benefit. So, once more, I heartily welcome my classmate in MTech in IIT Madras between 1980 and 82, and I request him to present this much awaited webinar on the science of pranayama. Over to you, Ramakrishna.
Hold on, just a Humani sign.
My audio was off, sorry, very sorry. So I have too many slides, but whatever I think is important at this point of time, I will touch upon and go. And I share this presentation with what is the name? I forgot. Vibhaji, and no, she can, whoever is interested, you can get a copy of it and you can go through the rest of it. And if you have a question, my email ID also is there in the end of the slides. So you can send me a mail later if you don't have enough time to look at your question, because 15 minutes, depending on how much of interest, may or may not be enough for all the questions. So let me get started. Okay, see my screen. Okay. Are you able to see my screen now? Hello?
Yes, slide is very clear.
Okay, thank you. So, I'm seeing a part of the screen. I see some of the participants. Is there anybody knows how to hide that? Meeting. Okay, no problem. I think this will work. Okay. So the title is Science of Pranayama, but I may also talk about few things which are not strictly part of pranayama. So I would call it generally breathing, breath work, whatever we may call it. So all of us know that in today's world, most of, at least the people who are right now attending this seminar, we live by our brain. So somehow there are some people who live based on the physical strength of the body, but there is a big cross section of people, we live by our brain, and it's one of the most crucial organ, even for Vedanta and everything else. Okay, so let's look at what is connection between the breathing. Any questions? Okay, so the brain's weight is only 2% of the body weight. It's the average for people, but it consumes 20% of the oxygen. I hear some voice, somebody, please mute your mic unless you want to ask a question.
Many people are on unmute, so a lot of them are on unmute. We have to mute. Everybody has to mute.
Yeah, whenever you want to ask a question, I welcome your question. That time you unmute and ask. Otherwise, it disturbs something going on, at wherever you are and so on. So both oxygen and, glucose or whatever other supplies are coming from the blood 20% of that is taken by our brain, even though it is only 2%. So brain cells, of all the cells in the body, are the most energy intensive in the body. And also, the body is so intelligent, it knows where to supply what. After you eat a good meal, maybe after an Indian marriage, it's very difficult to sit in any class, whether it is Vedanta or college classes, because the brain sends all the blood, or I would say the native intelligence sends all the blood to the stomach. College classes, because the brain sends all the blood, or I would say the native to the blood to the stomach. College classes, because the brain sends all the blood, or I would say some device is recording, whatever I'm talking and talking back. Can you something about that? Talking iPhone. I don't know whose iPhone is it. Talking back. Something
There
about
are
that.
3 people called iPhone, Jyoti, and Pragati. Please mute.
I
Please
don't know
mute.
whose iPhone is it. Srinivasa, yeah, Sridhar also, please.
No, I am talking to say, tell them to mute. I'm going to mute now.
Yeah. So there is even though food is also equally important for our body and oxygen, the difference is that people like Gandhi and people who do Ekadasi Upawas, they have shown us that if somebody doesn't eat for a day, nothing happens. In fact, you know recent studies show that maybe it's good for you once in a while not to eat. Whereas we cannot be not breathing, even though we have a control over breathing. If you stop your breathing, after some time it will take over, because brain cells will die if they are deprived of oxygen for more than 6 minutes. So that is the most important thing. But of course, this doesn't mean that people cannot stop the breathing for more than 6 minutes. Some of the divers have gone up to 20 minutes, because the body always has some supply of that, and it will predominantly send it to the brain and other things, and it will deprive of every other tissue. But if when somebody has a stroke in the brain, a blood vessel is blocked, then the areas which are supplied by that blood vessel, those brain cells will die after 6 minutes, and you can't get it back. Of course, you can train rest of the brain cells to do some functions. So every cell in our body needs nutrition. So the body has 37.2 trillion cells. This is one of the recent estimates. And I divided this by the number of people in the world, which is maybe some 800 plus crores. This comes to 4,700 times the world population. So the number of cells in our body is 4,700 times the world population. In fact, recently my Breathwork guru told me that one way of looking at this thing, moksha or whatever, this thing is, if you can consider each cell in your body as one of the lives in the world, not just human beings, but all the living systems, and you accept all of them as part of you, then you can consider that, you have evolved. I like that interpretation. So it is so big, if you take all the insects and all the birds and animals and bacteria and germs and everything else, it may come to this number. So that's many cells we have. And each of them have a function and input output. All of them need oxygen. Water is also an input apart from food and nutrition. And Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita that Annad Bhavanti Bhutani. See, when we are created from our parents, we are born as a single cell which we cannot even see by our naked eye. And from there, we have grown to this 37.2 trillion cells. How does it happen? One cell divides into two, two into four, four into eight, and so on. This thing, and then it specializes into heart cells, brain cells, and so on. But it's very clear that everything has come from. So our body is just food. One way of looking at it is Panchabhutas, but Panchabhutas, the way we get it is through food and our breathing and water, whatever. So that is where this Annad Bhavanti Bhutan is coming. So basically we started from one cell. All other cells are specialized things after this divides. So why is fasting beneficial? I just touched upon fasting a little before. So one scientist got a Nobel Prize in 2016 for finding the benefits of intermittent fasting. After that, this word has become famous, autophagy. So I told you that innate intelligence of the body, it always optimizes the distribution of oxygen and nutrition through blood supply and even local cell supply. See, if you look at the body, the total volume for an average adult of the blood vessels is around 8.5 liters. But the actual amount of blood we have is only around 5 liters. So at no time we can supply blood sufficiently for all the organs in the body, at no time. So the body or the brain always clearly decides which organ it has to supply at that point of time. If you are running, then it will send more to the legs and a little to your hands maybe. And if you have just finished eating, then it sends more to your stomach. Then if you are in a class, it tries to send more to the brain or in your meditation and things like that. So there are always certain other organs. It thinks that right now it's not the most important. So when somebody fasts, inputs are stopped. Oxygen will still be coming because we're breathing, but glucose and other things that come from the food is stopped. So after some time, for some time, it keeps waiting. Okay, he will eat again, he will eat again, because it's used to that fellow eating multiple times. And after 12 hours, 15 hours, when nothing comes in, then it starts, oh, I need to be careful and I need to optimize. So it decides where to give that food, whatever its supplies are still there, and where it should be deprived. Interestingly, it finds that whichever cells are not functioning well, and one of them is cancer, but any other cell which are not optimally functioning, it kills that cell. And not only it kills the cell, the parts of the cell, whichever can be recycled, it recycles to create new cells or wherever it can be used. But this has been mentioned in, of course, it may be there in Sanskrit books also, but unfortunately, I don't know much of Sanskrit. So there is a book called Tirumandiram, which was written around 3000 BC by a Siddha called Tirumular. And he has a chapter called Undi Surukal, that means reduce your food. So he has talked about the benefits of fasting. And, tradition, we have many things like Ekadasi and other things. So that is what it really does. It actually gives you great health. And the context why I brought that is, this everybody knows now after the Nobel Prize for this thing, but people still don't know. Even many doctors that I talk to, they don't know much about the breathing and its importance. So just as we are talking about intermittent fasting, which means, you don't eat for 12 to 15 hours in a day, then the mitophagy and autophagy starts. Similarly, I'm looking at calling something called intermittent hypoxia. Hypoxia means your oxygen supply is reduced. So it could be because you are in a very high in the mountain, maybe Himalayas, you are going at 15,000 or 20,000 feet, the oxygen supply itself is less, then you will get into hypoxia. And if you're not done enough of pranayama, then you may get into health issues. And you need to carry oxygen cylinders and so on. But when you are breathing and if you hold your breath, again, after some time, there is less oxygen, but the body's metabolism is constantly going on. So carbon dioxide keeps on increasing. So again, it's a similar thing like what is happening in fasting after 15 hours is happening here after maybe 1 minute or even 30 seconds. People have studied, what is called intermittent hypoxia by holding the breath. Then this mitophagy and autophagy things get initiated. And then there is another thing called brain-derived neurotropic factor, which helps in creating new brain cells and so on. All of this get woken up. All of these are already there somewhere, but they are in a dormant state. They're all woken up by the body. It says, "Oh, the supply is stopping. Come on, all of you get up and start doing something." And then there is a emergency. All of us do work. So that kind of thing happens just if you stop breathing for whatever time you can, maybe 30 seconds. So before we proceed further, Swamiji said that, we may also do some practice. So over a period of time, since as a professor, I have realized that, if you just give a talk and go, people get knowledge, but they don't practice anything. And in Vedanta, it could be different. That knowledge may give us something, but in the real world, in the Maya world, knowledge does not give you any result. Action gives result. If you do yoga or pranayama without knowing how it works, you will still get benefits. But if you know all the knowledge in the world and you can get 99% in an exam on yoga or pranayama, but you never do it, you will not get any result. You will get all the things, whatever other common man gets the same kind of disease. So I invite you to listen to this as something that you will take up for your life, at least some part of it. So my talk would have achieved its purpose if for the rest of your life, from now till our last breath, you give importance to breathing as a very, very important input for your families. This is a talk somewhere else. Maybe we can say your friends, whoever is there in your, this thing that, or their health. You should be a, harbinger of this thing and tell people about the importance of breathing, because I very, very strongly feel that, because this can give so much of health. And if people only do good breathing, I personally feel it has not been researched, but I have enough evidence that the people will not get into problems like Parkinson's or Alzheimer's and so on, because all of them are, now I know, I recently read a book called Brain Energy by a psychiatrist from Harvard Medical School, and he says many of the diseases are due to energy deficit in the brain. And one thing I know is if you do very good breathing, you are supplying much better energy into the brain. And once you give energy, the brain knows where to send it. That we already saw. Yeah? Okay. So let us start with the first thing, which will involve this intermittent hypoxia. So we have a pranayama called samavritti pranayama. Sama means equal, vritti means flow or movement. I may not be exactly correct. I have just taken it. I told you already that I'm not I know very little of Sanskrit. So where is this sama coming? So when you are breathing, you can inhale. After inhaling, optionally you can hold the breath. Then you exhale. After exhaling, again you can optionally hold the breath. So if you hold the breath after inhale, then we have breathing called samavritti. Both are called samavritti. 1:1:1 is equal duration. You are inhaling, holding, and exhaling. And after exhale, you are immediately inhaling. So it's only 3 phases of the breathing. But the other samavritti pranayama is you inhale for a duration, hold for the same duration, exhale for the same duration, and again hold. After exhale, you hold for this. So depending on whatever is, if you have done any practice so far of any deep breathing, I suggest you do only 1:1:1. If you have done enough pranayama or any other practices, then you can try 1:1:1:1. So let's do this for a minute. Okay. So the way you do it is, timing, the easiest way to time, people say 4:4:4. I don't know how fast we count. So that's why I usually say 1:1:1. And to have equal time, you can chant something. If you believe in Gayatri, you can do Gayatri mantra or any other mantra. You say that, Or if it's a short mantra like Om Namah Narayana or something, you can chant 2 times and inhale, 2 times when you are holding, 2 times when you are exhaling. And if you are holding after exhale, another 2 times. So whatever is the thing, I want all of you to right now immediately start doing this. Okay, close your eyes, and so that your attention is inward, and breathe for a duration, hold for a duration, exhale for the same duration, and optionally hold for the same duration. I'll tell you after a minute and we'll continue. Yeah, we start now. So let's start. So what is the advantage of Samaviti Pranayama? As you know, there is a breath hold. Of course, breath hold after exhalation has much more, hypoxia than other thing, but you should graduate. You shouldn't do that. Practice 1:1:1 for some time, maybe few minutes every day. And I don't believe in getting up in the morning 5 o'clock and sitting erect and doing it. Depending on your convenience, I do it even sometimes if I get up in the night and I can't sleep immediately, I do it. So you can do it anytime, even if you have 1 minute, you are going by a flight or you're going in a car, somebody else is driving, or in a bus, you can still do it. You can do any of these breathings, you know, for a minute, you can do many different breathings. I have some YouTube videos on this 1 minute breathings. And so this is, it, like I said, it can create new brain cells, it can give certain epigenetic benefits. That means it can suppress some of your bad genes, and it can uh, make some of your good genes to be active. So many things it does. So now we look at the connection between the breathing and the heart. And, so the most of the important things will be heart and the brain are the most important organs, as you know. Brain controls everything and your thinking. Heart is the one which supplies everything, to every one of this 37.2 trillion cells. And heart works non-stop from birth to death. And heart cells all require oxygen. So it also requires supplies. When heart pumps blood to the rest of the body, it also gets a little bit for its own muscles. And so, it's very important to give enough exercise to the heart. And, doctors tell you, you should walk, or some people run, you can do Surya Namaskar, people dance, swimming, all of this exercise says give good exercise to the heart. How? They actually increase your heart rate and make it active. And once you finish that, whether you do savasana or you just sit down, so the body goes back to the other extreme and gives a compensation, your heart rate will reduce and everything will reduce. And this cycling of the body or the heart is strengthening your heart. And one of the other simple way of doing exercise to your heart is just doing deep breathing. How is that? Everybody, not only human beings, even all the vertebrates, all the animals which have backbone, they have something called respiratory sinus arrhythmia. That means when you breathe in, your heart rate will increase. And when you breathe out, the heart rate will reduce. So suppose your basal heart rate is, let's say, 75. You can easily see that with anything that measures your heart rate. You can use an oximeter, which became popular during COVID. And if you slow down your breath and slowly inhale and slowly exhale, you will see that 75 can easily come down to 70 when you are exhaling, and it can go up to 80 while inhaling. In our lab, when we did experiments with young people, basically from 25 to 35 years of age, and all of these people are people who have never done any yoga or pranayama as per the study requirements. And when we asked them to slow down the breath, they could change the heart rate plus minus 10. That means a total change of up to 20 beats per minute just by sitting in one place. And you think that they're not doing anything except deep breathing, but it is giving a deep exercise to the heart. And in this context, I want to tell you, I think in this thing, abstract also probably I mentioned. One of my aunts is 90 plus. She's in Chennai, and I know I'm very close to her right from my childhood. And last year, sometime when I went, she was, having difficulty in breathing. I've been telling her to do some deep breathing, but she is somebody who never even goes out of the house and hardly walks inside the house also. So she said, no, it's very difficult. So I tried several times and left it. But this time, she had that this thing, so I had to take her to the doctor, and they did all the experiments, and then they said, oh, the lung has become very weak, and now there is some fluid accumulation. Immediately, she should be admitted to the hospital. So we admitted in the hospital. She was there for a few days, spent 6.5 lakhs, and came back with the oxygen cylinder. So next month again, I went to Chennai. I met her. I said, see, if only you had uh, followed whatever I said, simple breathing techniques, you would not have got into this. Even now, if you do whatever I say, you can get rid of this oxygen cylinder. Now, after going through all that, she had a little more motivation. Okay, you tell me, but it's very complicated, she said. I said, it's not that complicated. I'll sit with you. I will not move from here till you say I have understood. And you should also not move. She said, okay. Then I taught a very, very simple exercise. Just close your eyes and make as deep an inhalation as possible, as slow an inhalation and exhalation possible. This is the first one. Then since the doctor said the lung has become weak, I thought let us give some physical exercise to the lung also. So I, like we do in the school, just spread your hands to the sides. And I said, you inhale and take your hands to the sides, exhale, bring it back. And then inhale, take it up, exhale, bring it down. She said, I am able to do only two. Because for 90 years, he has never done deep breathing. Later, we will see normal breathing involves only 23 muscles in the body. But God has given us 89 muscles which can control your breathing. So from when you do very deep breathing, you can actually activate, increase from 23 muscles, you can add another 66 muscles and make it to 89 muscles. That much of exercise is possible just by doing deep inhalation. There are some muscles coming in. Deep exhalation, there are some other muscles coming. So I just told her, okay, two times is fine, but you don't have anything else to do. So morning you do two times, afternoon you do two times, evening you do two times. She said, okay. I used to call her from Bangalore once in a while. And after a month, when she went for testing with the same doctor, he said, oh, you have improved so much. Now you can do anything. You can take out the, remove the oxygen. And I was also surprised that a body of a person at 90 years who has never done any exercise, no exercise, no yoga, nothing, no walking. She doesn't like to visit places and all that. No. That person can recover so much by simple breathing 6 times a day. That's all. It's not 6 minutes also, 6 breaths a minute. That's all she has done. So now, slowly she has increased. Now she is able to do 10 times at a time. And she is able to walk from her apartment at the third floor to one more floor up by through the steps. And she's going around walking and coming back. So this is what is possible. Our body is a self-curing machine. You have to give it a little support. so that the right food and the right little bit of exercise. And at the age of 90, I'm not asking them to run, do swimming or cardio exercises. You just do breathing. And people, what I'm surprised, if somebody is there in wheelchair, they can still do the breathing exercise. If somebody has some other issues, they are just lying down, they can't get up also, they can still, anyway, if they are alive, that means they are breathing. And they can do a little deeper breathing. Please take it to all your relatives, at your home. First, start with your parents, children, grandparents, whoever is alive, and in-laws, and spread this message. It gives so much of health, and it costs nothing. You don't need to buy any equipment, nothing, and you can do it anywhere. So regular practice of simple pranayamic techniques improve the health of even senior citizens at the age of 90, although they have never exercised before. Even my mother is same age, 91 now, and I taught her some 3-4 years back. She gets up at 3:30 in the morning and finishes all the breathing exercises, pranayama, meditation, and all that chanting, everything by 6. And after 6 o'clock, she takes coffee and her rest of the thing starts. And during COVID, she just breathed through. 1 week, she came back without any this thing. And I gave her only vitamin C. I didn't give her any other medicine because I knew that it's not needed. So that is the power of breathing. And thanks, Swamiji, for this opportunity to tell you this. So my commitment in this talk is your relationship with breathing will completely transform. You will realize that good breathing is significantly more important than good diet. Like I already said, if you don't eat once, nothing happens. But you eat only 3 or 4 times a day, but you are breathing 24/7. Something like 27,000 breaths per day or something like that. So if you can even improve your breathing by 10%, and now there are studies, when you increase your lung capacity, it increases your life expectancy in general health and also life expectancy. So you will become, this is my promise, you will naturally be more responsible for your health. You start practicing simple breathing exercises, and hopefully time will give us, we'll learn. Some of you may already know, please forgive me if you already know, Brahmari and conscious connected breathing. Intermittent hypoxia breathing is that Samavati which you already did. And if you do it every day, at least 5, 10, 15 minutes, and not at one time, even if you spread one minute at different times in the day and cover 15 minutes, after a month, your energy level, awareness, and alertness, everything will go up. Even your brain will work better. So this we don't have time, but I'll just tell you, there are so many things that we don't know the body. See, when you're sitting, normally in meditation, if you look at Shiva's doing meditation also, he keeps the palm facing upward, not downward, and in the chin mudra. So you don't need to do chin mudra. You can also just keep the palm facing the sky or facing the roof of the room, and then do a very deep, slow breathing. Close your eyes and observe whether your stomach is moving more or your chest is moving more. And then you, after noticing it, you just change it so that your palm is facing your thigh, and the back side of the hand is now facing up. You will see that when your palm is up, you are breathing more through the chest, and when your palm is down, you are breathing more through the belly. I asked many doctors, they don't know why it is happening. So we need to find out. So there are like that. There are many things, and many people believe in this mudras. That's just movement of something, and they say, this is connected to this thing. Maybe if you start understanding this basic palm movement and how that is changing something, we may be further going into these things. These are simple things anyone can find out. When I go back home, I want you to try it because we have limited time now. Another thing I want you to know, I told you I read a book which is called Brain Energy. It's a very interesting book by the psychiatrist. And he himself says he was the psychiatric patient when he was young, and none of the psychiatric medicines helped him. If there is any doctors here, please forgive me. I have nothing against it, but you can read that book. He himself says that, and their diagnosis is not great because the symptoms are go across many psychiatric diseases, and the medicines also, there are common medicines for multiple psychiatric diseases. And he says even if it works for one person, it doesn't work for many people. And he's saying that by controlling your diet and few other things, so you can help your cells to go to better metabolism. And mitochondria are some organelles inside each of our cell, and they produce the energy. They have so many other functions, but one of them is they give the energy. And he says this by giving power to the mitochondria through better diet and exercise and better sleep and so many things, he has actually cured psychiatric patients. And I'm a certified what we call 5-element breathwork therapist. 5 element is, we do the breathing in with one of the Panchabhutas. Somebody is inside the water up to the neck, and they breathe for 1 hour. It's an intensive breathing. Or we make them lie down very close to the fire. And I've already cured 3 psychiatric patients. One of them who has been taking 4 drugs for the past 15 years. And he has not done anything after his B, not studied, not working, nothing. And now he's back to normal. He's taken some masters, he's studying. Hopefully, he will get a job in another year or so. So again, that doctor doesn't say about breathing, but he talks about mitochondria and metabolic health. But I personally believe, I have written to him now to asking his feedback on how our this thing works. So we want to study, and I have also talked to one psychiatric professor in Nimans who is incidentally related to Swamiji, and he has very replied in a very positive thing. He said, "It's very interesting that you yourself are a therapist." So tomorrow is 27, 28. We are having a meeting with his group to look at how this breathwork is curing psychiatric patients and what is the mechanism involved. So it can go up to that. That is the power of breathing. So this is the mitochondria, and mitochondria's health is. If you have good physical activity, if your environment is good, less pollution, if you have healthy food, all of them, there are other things that gives you a healthy mitochondria and you have more energy. And if you have toxins, either from your food or from your environment, unhealthy food, stress, and there are other things, then mitochondrial dysfunction is there, and this can give rise to many things. It can give rise to cardiac problems, it can give rise to diabetes, it can give rise to obesity, it can give rise to all the mental illnesses, and it can also result in Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, dementia. All of them are related to mitochondrial function only. And pranayama can protect you from COVID-19, a particular pranayama called Brahmari pranayama. So what is Brahmari pranayama? For many of you may know, please forgive me. So you just inhale very slowly. When you exhale with a humming sound. So it's same as whenever you're humming a song, something, or it's the same sound which is there in Om, or the same sound which is there in Namaha. Okay. So I feel that, many of our this thing, they purposely put this Namaha in everything so that, we will keep on doing this humming. So what does the humming do? When you inhale through the nose, this doesn't happen when you are inhaling through the mouth. So we should always inhale through the nose. There are some practitioners who tell you to breathe through the mouth. Please don't listen to them. They are unfortunately ignorant people. They're spoiling people. Because when you breathe through the nose, you have so many other advantages. When you are in a very hot place, it cools down. When you are in a very dry place, it makes your this thing, humidity, traps humidity, and it also adds a gas called nitric oxide. This nitric oxide, whenever you breathe in, a small amount of nitric oxide is added from your sinus cavities to your breath, And this nitric oxide can do many things. It can kill all the bacteria and viruses, including COVID viruses. It has been proved now. And it can give rise to new brain cells, and it can reduce your blood pressure because it basically dilates your blood vessels. Those of you, you know somebody who has a blood pressure, there are only two types of medicines. One medicine is called vasodilator. They expand the blood vessels. So the blood pressure comes. They don't look at why your BP is going up. It is just engineering solution, I call it, or a fluid dynamic solution. When there is a pipe and the pressure is more, how do you reduce? Increase the diameter of the pipe. That is vasodilation. Or take out some water quickly or the fluid. So the other one is called diuretics. They increase the urine outflow. That's all the by blood pressure control. So one of them is, I told you, the expansion of this, and we have a method of that directly in our nose. And this nitric oxide is actually doing vasodilation and reducing the blood pressure, but it's a very small amount is only coming every time. So if you do this humming breathing, inhale and exhale with a humming sound. So it's like, so every time you exhale, as you have a prolonged exhale and keep humming through that time. And when you inhale normally through the nose. And German scientists found out that this humming increases the release of nitric oxide by 15 times. It is not 15%, it is 15 times. So if it is, let us say, 10, whatever, let's say microgram or something, it becomes 150 micrograms. So it's such a profound increase in nitric oxide is there, and that can definitely uh, reduce your blood pressure. It can, uh, kill all the this thing. And those of you who have difficulty sleeping at night, as soon as you go to bed, some people sleep, some people cannot sleep. It will take 5 minutes, 15 minutes. Some people tell me half an hour, 1 hour. So you can do this, this Brahmari breathing as well as the alternate nostril breathing, which is called the Nadi Shuddhi. You will get much better sleep. So there is a lot of thing about nitric oxide. There was a group of scientists got Nobel Prize just for finding what all the nitric oxide does in our body. I will skip these things. So you can look at it later. There are some nice YouTube videos of his interviews. His name is Dr. Louis Ignaro at the top of this slide. I invite you to check. And these paranasal sinuses are the ones which give you that they produce and release the nitric oxide, which increases 15 times. This is the scientist Lundberg. He is in Karolinska Institute, Sweden. Sorry, he is not German. He's Sweden. So this. So there is also a role of oxygen in wound healing. So this I took from the website of Johns Hopkins Hospital, which is a very famous hospital in the United States. And there they are using what is called hyperbaric oxygen therapy for wound healing. See, people you would have seen in some this thing or in some movies or in a real case, when somebody gets a very bad fire wound, the skin gets affected quite a bit. Skin comes off in some cases, and these wounds take quite a long time, sometimes months to completely, because the entire area new skin has to come. It, you know, and with the age, these kind of things also get delayed. For such kind of people, they put them inside a chamber which has oxygen pressurized beyond the atmospheric pressure. That's what is called hyperbaric. And they put them for half an hour, 45 minutes, and then take them out. And they again come for multiple sessions like that. And they say that this helps them in wound healing. So I feel that, whether wound is coming from fire or somewhere else, or if the doctor is cutting, any part of her body as part of the surgery, that is also a wound. So anybody recovering from surgery also, I feel we should talk. Recently, I wrote to my neurosurgeon friend, and they have said, yes, we will try to experiment this after post surgery for people or lying down. So hopefully next time I give a talk, we may have some results of how it is helping recovery from surgery, whether it quickens doing some simple deep breathing. Anyway, the person who is lying down in the hospital doesn't have much work. They can at least do some deep breathing. And like I said, the number of muscles goes from 23 to 89 when you do deep breathing. And also this is a very interesting thing. See, this is our general spinal cord. Of all the spinal nerves that are there, except this few things here, and maybe one here, all other, there are at least 7 sets of spinal nerves are involved in controlling different muscles, which can increase or decrease your breath effectiveness. So the normal thing is only this, I told you this T1 to T11, they're controlling the external intercostal muscles, a pair of 11 muscles, that is 22, plus the diaphragm is controlled by C3, C5, only these 23 muscles. All these accessory muscles, there are 2 more other pairs of 11, that means 44 intercostal muscles. They are just sleeping normally when you breathe. Only if you do deep exhalation, they will come into picture. So similarly, abdominal muscles and accessory muscles and so on. So that is where deep breathing is a good exercise, even as a physical exercise. Forget about the heart. It's also a good exercise for involving many more muscles, and they are only involved in breathing. So if you're not doing deep breathing, those muscles will be silent, like it was there for my aunt. And other thing, when I first learned, it was rather surprised. I couldn't believe. It said that normal breathing involves, intake of around half a liter of air. Half a liter itself looked very high. But when you can do very deep breathing, like, there are this breathing, using your limbs also. So you do a very, very forceful deep inhalation and a forceful deep exhalation combined. Then the amount of air, the maximum that you can take in one breath is going from 0.5 liters to 4.8 liters. That means a 9.6 times compared to the normal, or 860% increase in the amount of air that you breathe in. So this is how your lung capacity can increase by doing better exercise. And recently there have been studies, more and more studies are coming in. Breathing modulates. CSF is nothing but the blood inside your brain is called CSF, cerebrospinal fluid, which is a nice name, Greek name for blood after it goes through some kind of filter to avoid certain toxic material to go into the brain. Then once it goes into the spinal cord and the brain, it's called CSF. And they have found that when you do deep breathing, it is able to modulate the flow of blood inside the brain. And Alzheimer's disease is only because of the waste products of metabolism called beta amyloids. They say it is not getting fully eliminated. And this is why sleeping between 10 and 2 o'clock or 10 to 3 is very important. When you are not sleeping, if you are a very late night sleeper, you sleep every day at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. Recently, I was talking to a pregnant woman. She says, I will sleep at 3 and get up at 9:30. I said, for God's sake, don't do this, not good for your child. So you are supposed to sleep between 10 and 3 minimum. That is the time when all the rejuvenation takes place in the body. And at that time, all the toxins are removed from the body. They have done experiments in rats. One day, if you prevent a sleep for a rat, this accumulation of beta amyloid increases in the brain. And that is the basic cause, so far, people think, for Alzheimer's disease. And simply by doing deep breathing, you can avoid this. So respiratory synapse, I told you, every time you inhale, the heart rate goes up, and every time you exhale, heart rate comes up. So whatever I was giving is, from hundreds of papers and books that I have read. So this particular thing is done, only 2-3 slides are from our experiments in our lab. So this blue waveform is actually our breathing, and the red one is our ECG, which is the electrical activity of the heart. you can see that, this going up is inhale. This is actually their holding, but our transducer is not linear, so it changes a little bit, but you should trust me that this is breath, inhale, hold. This is exhale and exhale, hold. If you see that when they are inhaling, the amplitude of the ECG comes down. When they are holding, the amplitude is more or less constant. When they are exhaling, the amplitude goes up. When they are holding again after exhale, again the amplitude is constant. So not only the heart rate is changing, even the electrical activity, the amplitude of the electrical activity of the heart is changing with every breath. So the body is a connected whole. Unfortunately, the allopaths, they deal with right nostril one specialist and left nostril another specialist. I want the syllabus of our doctors to change so that they know these things better. So we found out in our studies that even when the person is holding the breath, the heart rate is changing. So when we published it, that the reviewers asked, why is it happening? I said, I am not a biologist. You tell us the answer. This is our observation. So it is still unresolved, but we have observed it in all our subjects. When you breathe very slowly, when you hold the breath also, heart rate is changing. And this is our experiment, another PhD student did. Breathing modulates the EEG, that's electrical activity of the brain. This is, there is no controlled breathing. People are normal, the basal breathing. As soon as they come, we connect EEG and there is transducer to measure the breathing and heart rate. So this, you can see that blue is breathing, red is heart rate, how it changes. You can see that as they are breathing, the heart rate is also changing along with that. But the EEG is not much connected with the breathing. But when we ask them to do symmetric breathing, we show a pattern on the screen and they follow that exactly same amount of time for inhale and same amount of exhale. Then EEG also is following the breathing. Maybe it's a small delay. And this is same symmetric breathing with now introduced hold after inhale and exhale. So you can see that your breathing can control your, not, we already saw it is controlling the blood flow in the brain. Now we can see the electrical activity also, it is changing. What is the exact significance? We still don't know because these are very, very new discoveries. People have not yet understood what it really means in terms of health and all. But you can see the power of a breathing. So when you are doing exercise, when you're running up the stairs or anywhere you're running, you know that your heart rate goes up. Why? Because the muscles are very active and they're quickly exhausting the oxygen and the carbon dioxide is increasing, and there are sensors which send information to the brain. So the brain says, hey, send more blood. How can it send more blood? It's the same organ. So it increases the heart rate and it increases the blood pressure both. So if in experiments where they supplied a lot of oxygen by increasing the amount of oxygen in the air, they found that the reverse happens. Heart rate comes down, blood pressure also comes down. So that is how, when you are doing pranayama, since the amount of oxygen increases, your heart rate can come down and blood pressure can come down. 10 years back, my average heart rate was 82. And now I'm 66, my heart rate is 72. So it has come down because of, I don't do any other exercise, like mainly the breathing. Occasionally I do some yoga, but it's very rare. And this is another interesting thing. Okay, it's close to 1 hour. I'll close very soon. So Otto Warburg was a scientist who is a Jew, but he lived in Germany during the time when this guy was killing everybody. Nazis were active, but he was such a great scientist that Hitler said, don't touch him. And he gave all the facilities in his lab. And he was working on cancer. What he proved is, if there is sufficient oxygen in a tissue, the cancer will not spread into that. All of you who have faced some cancer patients through, somebody known to you or this thing, that, they get cancer and, they go through some treatment, they come back. After a few years, it goes to some other part of the body. So what he showed is actually by creating cancer in experimental rats, he showed that around that area, he made sure that enough oxygen is there. Cancer did not spread, and the rats lived longer. Nothing happened to them. Whereas some rats, they didn't do anything. They just created cancer. Within a week, they died. So he showed that cancer basically needs a low oxygen environment to survive. So there are papers which connect hyperoxia helps in red cells, and we will quickly go to one last point. See, there is something called epigenetics. See, every day you will see somewhere the new gene was found out. This is for this disease, and if you have this, so people are afraid. Oh, if my mother or father had this thing, I will also get it. Now they have disproved that, and this is as old as 2006. 20 years back, this was published in a Discover magazine. It says DNA is not your identity. Even if you have that uh, bad gene, which can give you cancer or BP or sugar or whatever, by doing having a better living, by controlling properly your diet or exercise, the sleep, and everything else, you can actually reprogram your gene. I'm not saying modifying your gene. Gene will be the same, but you can switch off the bad gene. You can switch on the good gene. That is what is called epigenetics. So this man proved that just by changing the diet in an epigenetic way, these two are, identical twins. When they were born, they were identical. But just by changing the diet, after some time, nobody will say they are twins. So he showed what is the power of the epigenetics. So, and there is also a paper, by I think this is University of Oslo. They showed that just a practice of 2 hours of a comprehensive yoga, pranayama, deep relaxation, and all that, the expression of 101 genes change in the lymphocytes. It is, related to our immune system in the blood. 111 genes expressions change. This is what I'm saying, programming the genes just by 2 hours of this thing. So that comes to the end of our talk. So once again, I want to give you this slide. So, you've seen the benefit of, breathing. I don't want to, I'm not a teacher, because there are thousands of teachers even online uh, who teach pranayama. So if you to go to a good teacher, and if you don't already know, please start practicing, and it will change your health and spread the message also. So now we are available for questions.
Thank you very much, Ramakrishna ji. Now we'll ask our audience to ask some questions or some submission to
please.
yourself.
Please go ahead.
Correct?
Yeah. So anyone who wants to ask a question, you unmute and ask the question directly.
Sure.
Unless arrangement is something else.
There are few on the chat box also.
Please someone read that.
Okay.
Will we have access to slides? Yes, I will send it to Brahmachari ji, and she will share it with whoever asks. Okay.
Here there is a question.
Yeah.
Will we get the slide?
I've already
Slides
answered
he skipped
that.
over. Yeah. Some slides someone needs. Your PPT
Please mute
slides.
everybody. Okay. Okay, since if there is no other questions, then I want you to all do this Brahmari. So while waiting for somebody to ask questions, so do this, inhale deeply, and then while exhaling, do the humming. Since most of your mics are off, nobody will hear it. Don't worry about it. You are doing it for your own health. Please keep doing it till we get somebody's question.
Sir, namaste.
Yeah, namaste.
I'm Ashwini from Goa. I just have a question for you. You
Please.
have explained about cancer and it can be cured with breathing. But
No,
how
I'm not saying it will be cured. But if
cured?
you
But
are
it,
doing all the time, you may delay or, you may not get it. But
yeah,
after this thing, unless, as a scientist, I cannot say that somebody will kill me. You
hmm,
should do experiments and see whether it can cure.
it can be cured. Okay. Then this diabetes, no, with only with the breathing, whether
Yeah.
diabetes can be controlled because nothing is explained about that.
Yeah, I have not done much in that, but I met a professor from IIT Bombay who did the programs of Art of Living, and he told me that he had both BP and sugar 10 years ago, and he has completely stopped all his medicines, and he's regularly doing that Sudarshan Kriya and other things taught by Art of Living.
Thank
But I haven't come across any studies, and that's why I didn't say anything. So I only talk about things when either I do an experiment or I read some scientific papers.
There's a question from my Musta. Which pranayama may help with Parkinson's?
Yeah, so whichever is a forceful pranayama, like Ujjayi is supposed to increase blood flow to your brain. So once you increase the blood flow to the brain, then I assume that, see, again, there are no studies which confirm, there's no scientific studies. It is based on my own intuition and whatever experience I have. So, but I have found out that Ujjayi is supposed to modulate blood flow into the brain. So then it might increase the energy supplies. Once energy supply is more, the Parkinson's is due to, already I told you, the brain cells take more energy. Of all the brain cells, the cells which are responsible for Parkinson, they are the most energy consuming within the brain cells itself. So that is why when there is less energy, the first cells which are affected are those cells, and they get Parkinson's.
Would you please put in the chat the spelling of that pranayama, because I don't get it
Yes, yes.
audio.
Ujjayi. I have just typed it. You can read it. Ujjayi.
Thank you. Thank you.
There is one submission to consider all living beings as a cell in our body is a very beautiful concept to feel oneness. Could you get me?
Yeah, please go ahead. Again, I didn't understand. Please repeat. Is it a question or
I
a
think
comment?
you are muted or what? I cannot hear.
No, your speaker is not working. Can someone else say whether you are listening to me fully?
Yes, now I can hear. To consider all living beings as a cell in our body is a very beautiful concept to feel oneness.
Yeah, even I liked it.
And she herself said that people I know count 16, 16, 16, inhale, hold, exhale.
No comments on that. I don't believe in counting because, see, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. So 16 doesn't mean anything for me. Timing is not clear. That's why I prefer, since we are all, at least in this group, I can talk of, chanting. People will not get upset. Chant something and then 2 time chanting or 3 time chanting, depending on how much you can, this thing, you use it. Somebody is raising the hand.
Hello. Hello.
You unmute and ask.
Is it necessary to plug the ears while doing Brahmari, please?
See, that is an additional thing. One of my friends is a researcher, the top researcher in yoga in India, and she tells me that they have tried it. Without that, it still works.
Humming is good enough, is it? According to
Yes.
you? Thank you. Thank you.
Because see, if somebody is 90 years old, I can't ask them to do all that. For young people, it's working. But in general, see, the whole idea is when you close your eyes and close your ears, 95% of your sensory input is shut off to your brain. So brain naturally goes to a quiescent state. That's the additional advantage.
Thank you, sir.
One more is a booklet available with same information that is available for purchase?
What booklet? Whatever I talked about?
Yes, yes.
I have an article which has come as a book chapter. I will send it to you, and I will share the slides. Only these two are there. I have not written any book. There will be no booklet in the world which will give you all the information. It has been collected from so many sources. Unless I write like that, it won't be there.
One more is, can I refer couple of young psychiatric patient to you, please?
Yes, definitely. But I'm in Bangalore. That kind of exercises cannot be done online. They have to be physically present. So if they are in Bangalore, yes, we can work. But anywhere else in India, I have other therapists. I can refer to them.
Sir, excuse me, how J is done?
Ujjayi is you have to create some kind of resistance in your neck, and then you'll have a sound when you're inhaling. You ask any yoga teacher, they will tell you. Or online you go, you will have 25 videos.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Can you please demonstrate it if you don't mind?
Because you will not see it. It's see in this thing, Brahmari, you will hear that sound. Here you will not get much. See, it's like this. See, when you are doing this alternate nostril breathing, which is called Nadi Shuddhi or Nadi Shodhan, you are supposed to breathe it in such a way that nobody should listen to could hear your breathing. You are supposed to do it very, very peacefully. Okay. Whereas this one, if somebody is sitting nearby, they will hear the sound. Because you are artificially constricting your throat and creating a resistance to the flow of breath. So it slows down as well as because of the resistance that it creates a sound. See, any
Bhamri
resistance you
produces
give to
nitric
that.
oxide. So
Yeah.
Bhamri produces nitric oxide. And
it doesn't produce, it increases the release. Body is already producing nitric oxide. So Brahmari doesn't produce anything. It increases the release because of the vibration of the people think that it is because of the vibration that is caused by your humming. It releases more.
where should the position of your tongue be?
There is nothing.
I read somewhere that the tongue should be touching the top of your palate, especially where it meets your teeth. Is that correct?
I'm not an expert in that. There are in every such things, there are so many varieties and variabilities. So like I said, the scientist whom I trust, she said that they have tried it without closing their eyes and ears, and it still works. So this could be there could be some additional advantage of doing that tongue touching the palate. I'm not aware.
Thank you.
Sir, can I ask a question?
Please ask.
Did you mention that meditation is also a good way of, improving your brain? Hello?
Yes.
Is
But
meditation
I don't
also?
talk much about brain. Yes, it is. Meditation is very, very good. But why I don't talk as a scientist is meditation is not one thing. Breathing means I can say increase the rate or decrease the rate. I can check what is happening. When somebody is meditating, once they close their eyes, I don't know what they are doing. So scientifically, it is very difficult to track whether somebody is really meditating or not.
Actually, I have attended some courses in Vipassana, which is essentially
Yes.
meditation. I am not aware if you know about Vipassana.
No, I'm aware of Vipassana. Yeah, see, that is why I asked you. See, Vipassana meditation is different from meditation that is taught by some Vedantic teacher. And that is different from what is taught by Art of Living. I have attended all of this. Each one is completely different. So then meditation is not one thing. If you control a particular thing, then You can say that, I've done a lot of studies on Brahma Kumari's meditation. They do meditation with open eyes. So, there are 100 varieties of that. So it's very difficult to say which one does what.
According to
But
you,
in general, yes.
According to you, 15 minutes of breathing exercise, will it improve your overall health?
Yes, definitely.
And
100%.
it will be done in an open atmosphere like a garden or
It's preferable, but see, now I'm in Bangalore in a third floor apartment. I don't have the benefit of any garden anywhere nearby. So if it is there, you are lucky. I go to the roof and do it.
I see. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
There is a question. My sister has fibrosis in the lung. What breath practice should she do?
Now, please ask her to write to me. My email will be there in the slides because I'm not aware of that. I'll go through that and then suggest later. Because I'm not aware of this condition. What exactly is fibrosis also, I don't know. Once I read that, I'll be able to suggest something. But right now, they can start with whatever simple deep breathing they can do. It will help. Later, we'll see what specific thing will give additional advantage.
Yeah, thank you so much for the very valuable presentation. I had a question on Bastrika. Can you say something about Bastrika, whether it is useful or whether it is something that we need to practice?
See, some of the people who have done research, they tell me that Bastrika should not be practiced by people who have hypertension. Okay. So with that thing, otherwise it's a great exercise. Like I told you, you will recruit from 23 muscles, you can go to 89 muscles. One of the simplest way is to do Bastrika. So I do Bastrika every day. So it's like this. So a quick and forceful inhalation with your hands going up and a quick forceful exhalation. So you are recruiting all the muscles that control your breath. And it's one of the best ways of increasing your lung capacity. And increasing lung capacity is going to increase your life expectancy. And having said that, it's some people suggest that BP people should not do it. When I first started doing it, I had BP. So when I did that, I had heavy headache. Then the person who taught me said, you don't do it with the hands moving. Just keep the hands peaceful and then just do the breathing. I started doing like that. But after much later, my BP came under control. Now I do it properly. Regular this thing it seems. So I have a different opinion, but I'm not a medical doctor or somebody who has done enough research into that. So if you are somebody has hypertension, you better do it without forceful, or you can do it peacefully. Do that slowly. You inhale and exhale like that, and then keep improving as you things become better.
Thank
There
you
is
so
another
much.
question. Can you elaborate a bit more on the beneficial effects deep breathing can have on patients with mitochondrial disease? TK2D is a type of mitochondrial disease called the mitochondrial DNA depletion and deletion syndrome.
See, this is a book on mitochondria. I don't know whether, okay, this may not come clearly. Very recently only, I never studied biology. We are engineers. Unfortunately, they don't teach us biology in engineering schools. So only recently I came to know, I didn't even know what is mitochondria, honestly, 1 year back. So I cannot answer those things. But whatever I have got from this book from psychiatrist is that it is also mental illnesses are basically because of mitochondrial dysfunction. And I have a special breath work, which is cannot be called pranayama because it's completely different. There we say that we should not hold the breath even 1 millisecond. You inhale and immediately start exhaling. You exhale, immediately start inhaling, and we do it intensely for an hour. And especially for psychiatric patients, we do it in presence of fire. So I don't know about this particular thing. Normal pranayama may not give too much of benefits. But the 5-element breathwork, again, ask them to write to me. I'll give more information about 5-element breathwork, or they can look at Sadgamaya Foundation, where my teacher gives all the details. So if they can Google for Sadgamaya Foundation Bangalore, they will get more information about this 5-element breathwork.
What is the title of the book, as we could not see it?
Brain Energy. It's available on Amazon India. Brain Energy. Very simple name of the book. And the author is Christopher Palmer, Palmer.
Say your contacting number.
93412
93412
49046.
49046. 93412 49046.
Yeah, but if you want to call and talk to me, please send a WhatsApp. WhatsApp is also there. You fix up a time in advance, preferably few hours before, at one day before, and then we can talk. I'm available, but don't
Your
call
WhatsApp
without
is there is
advance
WhatsApp.
thing. Yeah.
Sir, can I ask you another question?
Please ask. Don't waste your time asking whether I can ask questions. This time is for questions only.
Okay. For high altitude climbing, what kind of exercise or regime that you need to follow in terms of pranayam or in terms of deep breathing, so
For
that
climbing?
yeah, I mean, I would say, suppose I want to visit Mansarovar, the height is
Okay.
about so
Okay,
the
I got the answer. I got the question. I am also going to my Manasrovar this August. So one of the things I'm doing is every day I'm going up and down the stairs, 250 stairs. That's a one good practice. It's much better than walking. Walking is not enough. Okay, because you're going up and down in the mountain region. So up and down on the stairs is good. Other thing is you inhale deeply and hold your breath as long as possible and then exhale. Okay, and if you have done enough, so it may be a little difficult. So you relax for some time, till you get to a normal breath, and again do this at least 4-5 times every day. From now till you go to Mansarovar.
right, sir. So approximately how much of time do you think we should spend for this during the day?
For what?
For these kind of exercises.
That depends on your interest, your availability, so many things. One of my friends who had, he was taking so much of sleeping pills and still he could not sleep. With sleeping pills, continuously for 2 days he couldn't sleep because something happened, very disturbing and all that. And he was suffering for many years. And he told me he started this Brahmari and few other things. Minimum 45 minutes he does per day. And now he is completely free from medicine. So the more
Thank
you
you.
do, better.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
What are the best breathing exercises for dementia?
See, I cannot say immediately because, see, first of all, somebody who has already got into dementia, whether we can make them do the breathing, it's doubtful. If you can make them, whatever breathing they can do is good. Like I said, sending more blood into the brain is the thing. So they can do, if they don't have BP, they can very well do the, this thing, force. Advanced stage, we don't know how much help they will get. Probably it might, the best case maybe it does not increase further.
One more question. What breathing exercise
Yeah.
do you do every day?
Good. See, I do there is something called 40 CCB. That is 40 conscious connected breathing. I told you that we do some specific breath work, which I am giving to psychiatric patients. That is called conscious connected breathing. Since people are still there, now 37 people are still there. Most of you are there. Very great. This is. So we can, if you are interested, we can do that. So it is, all you need to do is, let us do it peacefully now. It's called conscious connect, because normally we are not aware of our breathing. So it is conscious. So you observe your breathing and you don't put your mind to anything else in the world except breathing that time. You're totally aware of your breathing at every second, every millisecond. So keep on inhaling. At some point, you start exhaling. So you should not end the inhale. You should start exhaling. And you keep on exhaling. At some point, you start inhaling. When it is, let us say, 75%, 80% exhale, you don't wait till it go to the limit, because there you'll slow down. Preferably, you keep a constant rate, but we don't have a meter or anything, no need. Reasonably concentrate, and at some point you start exhaling, and again at some point you start inhaling. It's like this. This is called connected breathing. Okay, in the type of thing, like 40 CCB, I do every day as soon as I get up. Okay, so that is 4 fast conscious connected breathing and 1 relatively slow, but still faster than the normal breathing, because that 40 CCB I complete within 1 minute. So I'm breathing 40 times per minute. And then I take a rest for 1 minute. Again, I do one more 40 CCB, again 1 minute, again one more 40 CCB. So 3 times 40 CCB will be over in 5 minutes. So it's like this. I did 3 repetitions. Like that, 8 repetitions we need to do. So that is one thing I do. And then I do this, I learned in Art of Living. I do this Mudra Pranayama. One is with Chin Mudra, then Chinmay Mudra, then Meru Mudra, and then there is one more. I forgot the names. So 5 different mudras I have in my hand. And with that, I do the Ujjayi for 15 times. Each mudra 15 times Ujjayi I do. And these days I do sometimes, if I have time, I go and sit in the sun between 3 and 5 and do Brahmari and some of these breathing exercises. Because sun is also for people who have BP or any of your family members. Just sun exposure reduces your BP. It has been found out by a very big study of 4,000 people. So I just go and sit in the sun, do Brahmari. So Brahmari also reduces blood pressure. Sun also reduces blood pressure. And then you can put some yogic posture and static, just extend your hand sideways, upwards, and keep it there. So all 3 things reduce your blood pressure. If you want more this thing, you can put my name, Ramakrishnan A is my full name, or Ramakrishnan AG also may give. My YouTube channel has some of these quick practices for reducing your BP. I put recently, which combines these 3 things. Very effective. I found that in one session of 10 minutes, I'm able to reduce both systolic and diastolic by 10 millimeters of mercury. Just one session. Of course, it may not stay. You have to practice regularly, but most pranayama will not reduce your diastolic blood pressure. Many pranayama reduce your systolic to some extent, but most of them do not do anything to your diastolic. It is difficult. Whereas this one reduces both. So it combines sunlight exposure, Brahmari, and some static muscle extension. Any yogic posture, just go to the posture and be there, do the Brahmari and stand in the sun. All 3 combined. I'm not able to hear you, madam.
Is it okay to do 1:1:1:1 breathing while walking?
you will find it difficult. If you are able to do it, you can do it, nothing wrong. You will get tired very fast when you are holding the breath and you are walking, because walking itself is a hypoxic thing, because you are quickly exhausting your oxygen and increasing the carbon dioxide. Along with that, breath hold will be a little difficult, but if you are able to do it, nothing wrong, you can do it. I tried it, but starters, I don't suggest that.
Sir, are you observing fasting?
No, I do intermittent fasting. I
Oh.
finish my dinner usually by 6, and till next day morning, 6 at least, I don't take. And usually I eat around 10:30, but I do take tea in the morning. So I cannot say 16 hours, 12 hours definite. After that, after tea, I take my brunch at 10:30. So between 6 and 10:30, only thing I take is a tea and water.
Oh.
So it's 10 o'clock. I am available. I have no problems. So if there are any questions, please ask. Even this conscious connected breathing, I have a short video,
We can't hear.
1 or 2 minutes. You can look at it.
And also about the questions.
Yes. I have to
So,
bring it
Vibhaji,
here.
so do we continue?
Yes, 1 second.
I don't see any question here coming. Is it acceptable to practice pranayama and Brahmari without initiation from a teacher? Yes, you can. You don't need initiation for this. This is not a
Can we
japa.
do the breath holding exercise while we
Yeah.
are working or walking, or it is only when we are sitting? A question from YouTube.
That's what I said. No, when you are walking or doing any exercise, it will be difficult to hold your breath. So it will be much easier when you are sitting, but you can easily do it while standing. I do many things while standing. Standing is not a problem. But when you are walking, you are already doing exercise. So it may be a little difficult, but nothing wrong in doing it if you are able to do it.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. It was very
Yeah.
enlightening, and many aspects of breathing we came to know.
Yeah.
Especially, it's such a thing that breathing itself, regulated breathing can itself cure many of our day-to-day small ailments. That
Yes,
was
very much quite correct. But it's not
very
a
important
cure
aspect
for
of
all
it.
things. It definitely improves our health to quite an extent. So I'll send the slides to you, madam.
Yeah.
As well as the one of the articles I have written. So whoever wants it, they will write to you and take a copy from me.
Sure, I'll do
Any
that.
of your members.
Sir, what is your YouTube channel? What it is called?
I don't think it is called anything. You just give my name in YouTube, you will get the channel. Ramakrishnan AG.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very much once again.
Or again,
and we
I can
expect
give
you
that
to
one
come.
or two links to Brahmacharya Energy, and you can get it from her. I will add it to the slides. Okay.
Sure. Okay, I'll do that. Whoever asks me, I will send them across. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. Convey my regards to Swamiji also. Let's close.
Swamiji, would you like?
All of us were really very benefited. I'm so glad about this webinar. Everybody, I think, is happy. Hopefully, after some time, you may give a second webinar with some special focus on what is very useful to most people.
Right.
We'll approach you again.
Sure. Yeah, let us make it more of practice.
Yeah, practice is a must.
Yeah, because theory, once I give, if people are really interested, they can look at my shares or article, but practice is more important. My purpose is to, like Chinmaya used to say that I want to convert Hindus to Hinduism. I want to convert educated people to pranayama. That's the purpose of the talk. But once I converted, they don't need the text. They have to practice it. So.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good night.
Thank you so
Great.
much. Good night.
Thank
Namaskar.
you.
He left, right?